How to ask questions that make women love you. Let's be honest, that sounds like a cheap trick. Say the right words, unlock the girl. It doesn't work like that, and part of you already knows it. But there is something underneath those conversations, something that decides whether she leans in or quietly checks out. A few psychological principles almost no man is aware of, and once you understand them, the right questions start happening on their own. Let me show you what you're missing. A few years ago, researchers sat strangers down for a series of getting acquainted conversations, then quietly counted something nobody in the room was thinking about: how many questions each person asked. Later, they ran the same test on real speed daters. Same result. The people who kept getting a yes for a second date weren't the funniest ones in the room, and they weren't the ones with the best stories. They were the ones who asked one more follow-up question than everyone else. Here's the part that should bother you. When the researchers asked people afterward if they thought asking more questions had helped them, most had no idea it made any difference at all. Meanwhile, you've probably spent years thinking your job in that conversation was to be interesting, to have the right thing to say, to make sure she walks away thinking you're impressive. That's not what her mind is actually tracking. Think about the last time you told someone something and got a flat "oh, that's cool" before they moved on to their own point. It didn't feel rude exactly, it just made you feel forgettable. Now think about the last time someone stopped you and said, "Wait, hold on, what happened after that?" That one's still in your memory. Nobody taught you the difference. You just know which one made you feel like the conversation mattered. That's the gap most guys don't see, because on the surface, they think they're already doing this right. Him: "What do you do?" Her: "I'm a nurse." Him: "Oh, nice. That must be really rewarding. Sounds fine, polite, even thoughtful." But look at what actually happened. He handed her a compliment and a dead end in the same breath. There's nothing left for her to say except, "Yeah, it is." And now he's sitting there hoping she picks the conversation back up for him. In his head: "Okay, I said something nice. Please don't let this go quiet. Here's how to do it the right way." Him: "How do you deal with that? Don't nurses work insane hours? I'd fall apart by lunch." Look how little changed compared to the first example. This one pulls her straight into telling you something real about herself and her life, something she actually feels. Most guys think the goal is to have a good question ready. It's not. The question is just the door. What makes her actually feel something is whether you walk through it. So when she says something, anything, the move isn't to nod and move to your next question. It's to go one layer deeper into the thing she just said before you go anywhere else. But here's the problem. Even if every follow-up question lands exactly the way it should, you're still doing all the giving. You're still the one doing all the work to make her feel good. And there's a second mechanism most guys never even consider. But before we get to what it is, you need to see the strange experiment that proves it works. Back in the 1960s, researchers ran a contest where people could win prize money. After the contest ended, they picked one group of winners and personally asked them for a favor. Could they give the money back? The researcher said he paid for the prizes himself and was running low on cash. Here's the part that doesn't add up at first. Those people ended up liking the researcher more afterward, more than the people who were never asked for anything at all. Read that again. He took money back from them, and it made them like him more. Why? Because when we do something for someone with nothing in it for us, our brain doesn't like the confusion. It needs a reason. And since there's no obvious payoff, the brain just decides, I must actually like this person. That's why I help them. Now think about how you actually act around a woman you like. You compliment her. You buy the drink. You go out of your way to make her comfortable, hoping that if you give enough, eventually she'll want you back. That's not how her mind works, and it's not how yours works either. Think about the last time you helped a stranger with something small, held the door a little longer, helped an elderly carry her groceries down the stairs, gave someone directions when they looked lost. You probably didn't think twice about doing it, but afterward, you probably felt a little warmer toward that person than you did 5 minutes before you helped them. You didn't get anything from them. You gave something, and somehow you're the one who walked away liking them more. That's the same wiring at play here, except most guys have it running in exactly the wrong direction. Him: "Let me get this for you." Pays for her drink. Her: "Oh, thank you. That's sweet. Nothing wrong with it. Polite, generous. Exactly what you're supposed to do." In his head: "Okay, good start. If I keep doing stuff like this, she'll start to like me." But hear this. Him: "Actually, settle something for me. Does this jacket look better with a white shirt or black?" Her: "Black, definitely." Him: "Yeah, black. I figured you'd know. You dress like someone who would." He didn't give her anything. He handed her something small to do, and now she's the one who just did something for him. Most guys think the way to make her like you is to give compliments, attention, effort, anything that makes her feel good. So they spend the whole conversation handing things over, hoping enough of it adds up to attraction. But it's backwards. Let her be the one who is giving, and you'll see how the dynamic shifts. Now listen to me carefully, because this is what most men get completely wrong. Even after all that we have covered so far and doing the procedures correctly, she can still walk out of that conversation only mildly interested, because there's a level above all of this, which can dictate whether you stay in her mind after the interaction. Think about the interactions that actually stuck with you, the ones you replayed in your head for days afterward. It probably wasn't because of what someone said, it's because of what happened while they were saying it. A song came on at the right second. Somebody at the next table did something ridiculous. The waiter dropped a tray. Something in the room made you both turn and look at each other at the same time. And for a split second, it felt like you and this person were the only two people who saw it. You didn't need to know each other for that to feel like something. You didn't need history. The moment did the work. And most guys walk right past those moments every single time. Him: so what do you do outside of work? Her: I paint a little, mostly on weekends. Him: oh, nice. Do you have a favorite artist? Nothing wrong with that, technically. He's asking about her. He's following up, but something's off. And it's the same thing that's off in almost every good conversation you've ever had that still ended in nothing. The whole interaction is happening inside her head, her past, her interests, her weekends, her opinions. Meanwhile, the room around them, the music, the people, the atmosphere, the actual moment is completely untouched. Now watch what changes when that shifts. A song comes on in the background. Him: wait, is this the same song that was playing when we sat down? Her: laughs. Oh my God, it is. Him: are they just playing this on loop, trying to get rid of us? He didn't ask her a single thing about her life. He pulled her attention into something they were already sitting inside of together. And for the first time in the whole interaction, they weren't just two people talking. They were two people noticing the same thing at the same time. He was in the moment. That's what her memory holds on to, not the questions, not the answers. That. Most guys treat a good question as something you dig for. Her past, her family, her dreams, some hidden layer of her life she'll open up about if you ask the right thing. There's a completely different type of question that lands harder, and almost nobody uses it. Researchers at Yale ran a small experiment where two people were seated side by side. One person tasted a piece of chocolate at the same time as the other person tasted the same chocolate. In a second condition, one tasted the chocolate while the other did something completely different in the same room. No talking, no eye contact. Nothing but shared attention on the same thing. The result: the chocolate tasted better when it was shared. The same bar, the same chair, the same silence. Just knowing the other person was tasting it at the same moment made it more intense. Here's the mechanism. Whatever's happening right in front of two people gets amplified when they know they're both in it. Presence alone doesn't do it. Shared focus does. A focus, not on her past, not on her life, but about what's happening right now in front of both of you. The music in the background, the couple at the next table, the drink in her hand, the moment you're both already inside of, but haven't yet named out loud. Here's what most guys never realize. It was never really about the questions. What her mind was actually tracking was a feeling of being paid attention to, a feeling of being trusted enough to be asked, a feeling of being in a moment with you instead of just being asked about her life. Get those right, and the questions almost don't matter. But learning all this is useless if it doesn't actually lead to building a real connection with her. What's the point of the perfect question if nothing lands underneath it? Watch this next to learn how to actually build a genuine connection with her.